Okay, Sarah, what's a regular day like for you out here?
A regular day, I get woken up by the people that work at the building where I sleep. And then basically I pack up everything I own up and go to wherever I need to go to make money that day. Usually our days start at the scrapyard. Usually we find scrap the day before, and then in the morning we go straight to the scrapyard. And then basically it's just a day of walking around and trying to figure out ways to make money without getting in trouble or getting arrested. I don't like to steal or anything like that, so it gets a little more complicated when it comes to finding ways to make money, but we work it out every day.
Okay. What's up, guys? Welcome to Philadelphia, and welcome to another video, bringing you real life stories of so many that are dealing with homelessness and living on the streets. According to the Philadelphia Office of Homeless Services, 18% of the city's homeless population is unsheltered and living in places unsuitable for human habitation. Today, bring you the emotional story of Sarah. What's up, guys? It's your boy Rico the Trainer, and today I'm here with
Sarah?
Sarah. How you feeling today, Sarah?
I'm all right today.
Okay. I imagine some days are better than others, right?
Yeah, that's for sure.
Okay. And you're currently going through the struggle of dealing with homelessness and living on the streets, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And how long has that been going on?
I've been homeless out here in Philadelphia for about 3.5 years. About 3.5 years. Yeah.
Okay. And how has that been for you?
Um, I mean, I'm not mad about it. I can't say I'm mad about it. It hasn't been as awful as people would imagine. It hasn't been as awful as I would have imagined. Um, there's a little piece of it that's freeing, sort of, but it definitely has its ups and downs, and the downs are pretty low, I'd say.
I can imagine. I actually do run into people that they tell me that it's actually a little freeing and they do get a peace of mind just being able to find peace within not having to do so much and get time to think. You know what I'm saying? So the most important question, how did this come about for you?
So I would say the primary reason um, my life took the turn of homelessness is mainly due to drugs, honestly. That's just my honest answer. Obviously, there's a lot more to it than that. I was living in New Jersey with my boyfriend and his mother, and I just had my third son, and DIFUS, which is like the New Jersey CYS, sort of got involved, and basically it was a better household for my kids to be in if I wasn't there, and that was a decision we all had to make together, and it was probably one of the hardest decisions I've ever made, but that's what ultimately ended me up homeless, was leaving my boyfriend's mom's house and just really having nowhere else to go, nowhere else that I really wanted to go or felt comfortable going.
Okay, so was leaving a matter of not being able to maintain the responsibilities or just having a dispute?
Leaving had a lot to do with, my boyfriend and I were arguing in the house, which was not good. It was creating a hostile environment. And then also not being able to keep up with the, requirements for DIFUS and everything like that, to be around the kids all the time. So I'm allowed to see the kids and everything, but it wasn't healthy for me to live there, I guess.
Okay, so was the three kids your boyfriend's?
The two youngest are with him, and then I have a 11-year-old son with someone else.
Where are the kids now, if you don't mind me asking?
My oldest son is with his dad in the town I grew up in, and then the two younger ones are with my boyfriend's mom in New Jersey still.
Okay, and you still have communication with them?
Yes.
So let's talk about family for a second. Do you have any friends and family that you're in contact with out here, or back in Berks County?
I'm the type of person that when I'm out here, it's too hard for me to reach out to my family because I don't want to disappoint them.
Okay.
Unfortunately, both my parents have passed away. I do have siblings that I know care about me a lot, but I don't reach out to anyone when I'm out here because it's like I'd rather not disappoint them. I know they would like to hear from me, but that's just too hard for me. Family's like a bad topic for me.
Okay, got you. Understood. Some people are actually, in a position where they're like, their family just like, they're just so like, it's like, fuck them. You know what I'm saying? That's some people's stories. But I know how it can be. I've seen different stories, and I understand. Let's go back a little bit. What was your childhood like?
My childhood was okay. It was a little bit chaotic. There was a short period of time where I lived in foster care when I was young. I don't remember it much because I was really young. I just know it happened. I remember some of the stories that happened there, but not much. And then, it's like I can remember bits and pieces of my childhood, but I couldn't chronologically put it in order for you because it was just, like I said, it was chaotic. Both my parents were addicts, so when my father was actively in his addiction, he would just like not come around at all. And then my mom was in and out of jail, so my grandmother raised me for the most part with the help of my aunt.
So Sarah, how is it being a female out here?
Being a female out here, I think I can confidently say it's a lot different of an experience than being a male.
I could imagine.
I don't know. I mean, I can't really tell you what it's like to be a male out here, so I'm not really sure how they differ from each other too much, although I know that for females there's more of a risk, I guess.
Right.
For something happening, something bad happening to them, getting hurt by someone or something like that. But I set rules for myself out here so that I can remain safe, and I just stick to those rules as strictly as possible no matter what. I don't get in cars with people I don't know. I don't go inside of houses of people that I don't know. And I don't follow anybody I don't know to places that I don't know, basically. And I also don't give anybody that just seems suspicious really the time of day. I'll just keep it moving and keep to what I'm doing and stay focused. I feel fortunate that I'm a female out here that has a boyfriend. I believe that keeps me a little bit more safe, even though we're not together all the time. I know there are some females out here that are alone. They don't have a boyfriend out here. They don't have like a guy friend that looks after them out here. I can't imagine being in that position, but yeah.
Okay.
So.
Has there been any experiences that you've gone through that was like, crazy? Like being a female?
Honestly, I can't really say there has. And I believe that's due to the fact that I don't trick for money. I don't go on dates or anything like that. And, the rules I set for myself, I really think those things are the only reason why I haven't had any, high risk, scary situations. I have come in contact with some dudes that were definitely
a little suspicious, or they seemed nice at first and then turned to being like completely crazy, and it was a little bit nerve-wracking. I had one guy I was friends with for a while out here, and he seemed normal to me, and then slowly I started like seeing weirder things. I think I'm a pretty good judge of character, but this one totally was over my head, and ultimately it led to him. He punched me in the face the one day in Center City, just randomly. I don't know why. I have no idea, but he punched me in the face pretty good, and that was pretty scary. But I think that's like the craziest thing that's happened to me really out here. Was he on something?
He had to have been. I have no idea. I just cut him off completely after that, honestly. And anytime I see him, I just go the other direction, or if I'm at the train station, he's there, I'll just leave the train station and walk to the next one. I just completely avoid him and stay away from him.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. So Sarah, where are you from?
I was born in Pulaski, Virginia, but I grew up in Berks County, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Like in between Reading and Pottstown, if anyone knows where that's at. Yeah, I spent most of my life there.
Got you. And how long you been in Philadelphia?
I've been in Philadelphia for about 3.5 years. My whole time being homeless without a vehicle, I guess you could say. Because at first, leaving my boyfriend's mom's house, we lived in his car, but eventually the car broke down. So
Okay,
that
so you
day, I
just
literally came to Philly and been in Philly since.
okay. And how has it been this whole time, like in Philadelphia? What's the treatment been like? What's your experiences been like with Philly?
You know, I never lived in Philly before this, so this is my first experience, and I mean, I'm kind of grateful that my first experience in Philly is all the way on. I hate saying this, but on the bottom of the totem pole, really being homeless, because I don't ever want to be jaded by people being nice to me and it not being genuine, you know? And I definitely haven't really had to worry about that too much out here. I always say that I'm surprised they call this the city of brotherly love. Don't get me wrong, I get mad love from a lot of people out here, and I love mad people out here, but I have also been treated more poorly out here than ever in my life before. I think a lot of that has to do with the misconception and the misunderstanding of homeless people, honestly. And usually those people are just ignorant to like who I am and really not interested in knowing who I am. They just know I'm homeless, and that is a reason enough for them not to like me. You know, they definitely stereotype homeless people out here, which you know, kind of sucks in a lot of situations, especially if I'm going to the store to buy something. You know, there's a lot of situations where I go to stores to actually purchase something and I get treated poorly, or I get kicked out before I get to buy anything, or I get followed and stalked around the store because they're going to assume that I'm going to steal, because a lot of homeless people do steal out here. So that's like the biggest thing is in the stores. Getting kicked out of a store when you're not even doing anything wrong for no reason at all is humiliating.
I could imagine. I've seen it, and you know, one of the reasons why we're doing this interview and why I continue to do this is to shed light on the fact that, for one, everybody's story is different. How people got in the situation is different. So I feel that it's not fair to put everyone in a box just because of their circumstances and just because somebody is dealing with a hardship or a hard time. So that's one of the reasons why I do this, to give people a chance to speak for themselves, let people know who they are, why this has happened, and you know, hopefully it can change people's perspectives. So
yeah,
that's one of the reasons why I do what I do.
I believe the biggest misconception on homeless people is going to be this: not all homeless people are on drugs, and not all people on drugs are homeless. Not all mentally ill people are homeless, and not all homeless people are mentally ill.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's like the biggest thing. Like there's homeless people that are not mentally ill and they're also not on drugs. But then there's homeless people that aren't on drugs and they're mentally ill, or are on drugs and aren't mentally ill. Like, we're all very, very different, and I think sometimes all of us get thrown into this category and it all gets mushed around, and they think that all of us are completely crazy, like batshit crazy and on drugs and, you know, just a problem. And really, honestly, a lot of us try to go under the radar and not be too much of a problem and not be noticed. We literally go out of our way on a daily basis to go under the radar and not be a problem or a nuisance to, you know, the general public. But that's always not always possible, unfortunately.
Okay, so speaking of drugs, you did mention that drugs had played a part in, you know, you being in this situation. So what was it that you felt like happened within drug use that caused you to be in a situation?
I mean, honestly, I've been on and off of drugs since I was 26. I'm 32 now. And it seems like every time I relapsed, obviously it got a little bit worse. And unfortunately, this is sort of where it's ended up. I think a big part of that is due to the fact that I, basically was kicked out of where I was living, and then my transportation to Philly to get what I needed to be well every day was taken away from me. And it was like I sort of had no choice but to come down here and stay down here in order to stay well. It was either that or go to rehab, and like nothing really can make you ready to go to rehab until you're ready to go. And I wasn't ready to go then. And I guess I can't really say I'm ready to go now. Sometimes I feel like I am, but it's a battle every day back and forth in my head. So,
Right. So do you feel like you use drugs to cope, or do you feel like it's recreational?
I feel like I use drugs to cope.
Okay, because
100%.
a lot of times it stems from trauma that's taken place like years ago, or a time in somebody's life, and a lot of people don't understand that aspect. They just look at it like, oh, they just want to get high, but they don't look at the fact that it's something really traumatic 9 times out of 10 that's taking place, and you know people need a way to cope, and to you know kind of block things out. You know what I'm saying? So how did it start for you, if you don't mind me asking?
My drug use really started. I mean, in high school, I smoked weed, and I would recreationally drink alcohol with my friends on the weekends and stuff like that. My drug use got really bad when my life sort of took a 180, took like a 180 spin. Everything sort of changed all at once. I started working a different job that was a different shift. I broke up with my fiance and moved out of our house together. I wasn't living with my son 24/7 anymore because of that. My mom had passed away, and it was like all that change all at once was really overwhelming for me, and I felt the need to release that somehow. And unfortunately, I didn't pick up a healthy habit to release that stress. I ended up sort of relying on drugs to make me feel comfortable in all of that. I really wish I would have done things differently. If I knew what I knew now, I would have done things differently, but we can't be that fortunate in life. But now I'm at a situation where it's like when I do stop using drugs and I'm not getting high, I don't know what it is. I haven't pinpointed it yet. It's going to take a lot of therapy, I believe, but I'm uncomfortable in my own skin 100% of the time when I'm not getting high. And it's like scary almost. So that's why I do it now, basically.
Wow, that's deep. You know what I'm saying? That's a perspective that some people just may not know or understand. And I thank you for sharing. All right, so have you used any of the resources here in Philly, as far as homelessness or outreach, anything like that?
I mean, I put in contacts with outreach, so that I guess the contact thing is how chronically homeless they consider you. The more contacts you put in with the outreach people, the more chronically homeless you're considered. So I try to do that all the time so that, one day when I do go for housing, I can be at the top of that list. I have utilized, Prevention Point as a resource. For like a caseworker and mailbox, and even if I need to see a physician for something, I can see the doctors there. They do a lot of really great things at Prevention Point. I have gone to the meals, you know, the free meals. I know at Love Park on Wednesday nights they do a dinner. I like to go to that. We call them spaghetti people. I don't know who they really are, but we just call them spaghetti people.
Okay.
Because no matter what they serve for dinner, they also serve spaghetti. So
Oh wow.
I know that they're at Love Park on Wednesdays, but they're also in Kensington on Saturdays. So I try to go, you know, those 2 days for those free meals. I've been to some, you know, clothing things here and there. There was a thrift store down the street from here actually that was giving free stuff out to homeless people over the winter. You know, as long as you didn't spend more than like 15 minutes in the bins, you could take as much as you wanted from these bins, and they had like unlimited amounts of stuff for homeless people. Unfortunately, a homeless person went in, got mad, and trashed their store, so they took them away.
Man.
Yeah, it's a bummer. One person's got to ruin it for everybody. But I do know that the owners of that thrift store still do. If you go there and say, hey, I really need an outfit, they'll say, okay, go pick out what you need, you know what I mean, and bring it up front. And they'll give you what you need for free if you absolutely
that's
need
dope. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I think the owners of that thrift store, I think the brother slash brother-in-law of the owners of that store, I think he is actually one of, like me. He's homeless out here like I am, so they're really understanding and cool people.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty dope. Have you tried any shelters?
I have not tried any shelters yet. I've thought about it, but I hate, like, I don't want to say I hate rules, because that's really selfish to say, I think, but I don't want to get in somewhere that's not like, you know, gonna work for my lifestyle, where I'm just gonna have to leave anyway, you know? So, I have heard of a few shelters that would probably work well for me, but I just really haven't, you know, taken that leap into looking into them. I know there's a couple shelter that me and my boyfriend could get into together, and we've attempted to do that a couple times. It just never really worked out where there was availability when we were trying. But I mean, that's definitely something we still talk about doing. We just never really get around to it.
Hey, how's it feel to have some new shoes, Sarah?
Feels good. I love a new pair of shoes. I'm really hard on my shoes, so I do a lot
That's what's up. That's what's up.
You just never know what has landed someone in a situation like homelessness. It's easy to judge, but I find it easier to show love. So I will continue to give a voice to the voiceless and try to help as many people as possible. Be on the lookout for part 2 of Sarah's story. Thanks for your continued support. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time with another video.